and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, I am going to be explaining how to add some style to your HTML document using JavaScript. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel if you want to support it. And if you want to get notified every single time that I upload a new video, you can hit the ring bell. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, everybody, so to get started in today's episode, the first thing that I need you to do is go to w3schools.com. Now, in W3 Schools, I want you to go ahead and just get into the JavaScript section right here on top. And then in that JavaScript section, I want you to go all the way down to where it says JS HTML DOM. It should be at the very bottom right there. And then you're going to click on an article that it's called DOM CSS. So just click on that article. As always, I have also opened my website, the website that we have been coding so far with. And at the same time, I have also opened in here the JavaScript code that we have been using. Now, for now, I am going to delete what we did yesterday. Let me just make sure I hit save to this. And let me just make sure this was saved. So let's open here the console. So this is the old page. Now let's hit refresh. There you go. So everything was saved. Now, what we are going to do is just go back into our main section. So first and foremost, you might be asking yourself, how do we add some style, right? Using JavaScript to our HTML document. So that's what I am going to cover in today's tutorial. Now, the way to do it is super simple. And the way that I am going to teach you in how to change your HTML document style will also help you out if in case, let's say that you have some inline CSS typed in, then you can also change that using this method that I'll teach you right now. Now, one thing, though, that I want to be very clear about is that if you use this, whatever style you had originally, let's say coded with CSS, then that is going to be we are going to override it with JavaScript, just so you know. Okay, so let's go into the article. Let's read a little bit first, and then I will explain you how all this works into our code. So the HTML DOM allows JavaScript to change the style of HTML elements. Okay, now to change the style of an HTML element, you can use this syntax. They put here document.getElementById.style.property, and then you add the new style. So this is what you should be looking for. This property right here. So you use style, then dot, and then the property name, whether if it's, let's say you want to change the color, you want to change the width, you want to change whatever you want to change, you put that in here. And then you're going to equal that to whatever new style you want to give this. Now, let me just go ahead and show you how this will look like into our code, okay? Because there are a couple of things that you can use, you know, like color, background, font size, font weight. I mean, you name it. It's always the same type of style that you give to CSS, what you can use also in JavaScript. So let me just use this content that we have written so far into our website as an example. We have an H1 and we have a couple of classes here for paragraphs, right? So we can go back to JavaScript. So in order to change the style, this is how it's going to look into our code. First and foremost, what I like to do is create a variable. So let's call this variable new style. Let the new style equal to document.querySelector. And then here in parentheses, we're going to select, let's say the H1s. The H1 that we have in the element, the H1 element that we have in here. So the new style variable is going to equal the H1 element that we have in here, okay? Now, the next thing I want to do now is change the style. So to do that, I am just simply going to use the variable. So I created a variable called new style dot, and then you simply go ahead and add some style. So you use the keyword style, and then dot, let's say that we want to change the color, right? And then we're going to equal this to whatever color we want to give it. So we open quotes, and then let's say that we want to change all H1s to red, okay? Because those are the ones that we have selected. So the new style for this variable for all H1s is going to be the color red. So if I save this information and I refresh my code right now, you see how this now is changing to red. So as simple as that is how you are going to be making changes. Now let's say that we want to change something else to this same H1. Let's say that we want to, I don't know, let's say that we want to change also not only the color, let's say that we also want to change, I don't know, the font weight, right? We want to make this a little bit thicker. So then we can definitely do that. Now, if we want to do that, we can go ahead and just copy the same syntax, right? Paste it in here. Now, what we are going to change is the value, and we're also going to change this property. Instead of color, let's say that you want to give this, I don't know, let's say that you want to probably give to this, let's say that you probably want to change the font size. So we can do that. Now, in if you remember, in CSS, typically the font size is separated with a dash. Well, in JavaScript, we don't use dashes. What you're going to do is, let's say you want to change the font size, you're going to capitalize the whatever letter. So it's camel case. All it's camel case. If it says like font size, border width, you're going to start with lowercase letters, and then you're going to put in uppercase the next coming word. So in this case, font size will be font size. And here are some other examples, right? So we're going to use just for now font size, and then let's make this, I don't know, let's make this 100 pixels. Now I am going to hit save. Going back to our code, let's hit refresh. And now you see how this has changed to 100 pixel. That's another thing you can do with CSS. Now, let me just show you another thing that you can do. Okay, everybody, now let's say that you do not want to write your code with several lines like this, like do style color, style font size, and style something. You can definitely write everything down into a same line of code. The way that you do that is very, very simple. I'm going to erase this second thing right here. And one thing I want you to keep a note of is that the font size right now, it's all together when it's a property. Now, when it goes inside of here, we're going to separate it with a dash, just so you know. Okay, so let me just go ahead and delete everything. And then here, instead of using the property color, what we're going to style is the entire text, right? So for this, we're going to be using something that it's called CSS text, this one right here. So CSS text, and then we're going to equal this, and then we're going to open quotes. And then let's say we want to assign a color to it. We use color, and then we use columns, and then we use the color that whatever we want to give to this. So let's say I want to make this blue, then I make it blue. And then I separate this by semicolons. I give it a space, and then I add my next property. Let's say I want to change the font size again. So I do font, and then dash, and then size. And then I do the semicolons, and then let's say I want to make this 200 pixels big. I put this 200 pixels, and then I separate again by semicolons. And you keep on adding and adding whatever more style you want to include in here. And then I'm going to hit save to all of this. Going back to our code, let's hit refresh. And now you see I made this bigger, and now it's in color blue because we have gave style in this quotes, inside of this quotes, just by using the property CSS text, and all inside of one. Now, quick thing again to notice is that inside of the quotes, the font size will be separated with a dash. But if you use the font size in here as a property, then you will not use the dash. You are going to be just camel casing your letters. If it's font size will be font starting with lowercase and then capital S. And then, you just assign whatever style you want to assign to this. So this is it. This is very simple. This is how you will change your CSS or your style to whatever element that you have in here, right? Now, another thing that I want to be clear about in here is that if let's say that you have a different style added in here in line. So let's say that I have something else written down in here, another style, then whatever we type in JavaScript is going to override that style. So let's say as an example that I have in my head section right here, another different type of style. Let me just go ahead and add something here just to give you a quick example. And I am going to copy this Let's cut it and let's save this. Go back here and let's refresh. Okay, so let's go back to our index. Let's say that you have some type of style. I'll add something real quick in here. Okay, style. And then inside of this brackets, let's say that I want to give, I don't know, let's say that I want to give to my H1 as well. So H1, right? And let's say that I want to add some color to it. And the color will be, let's say, red, just so that you can see the difference. And then let's add a font size as well. And we're going to make this be, let's make it 300 pixels. Or you know what, 200 pixels. No, let's just do something smaller, 50 pixels. Let's just do this 50 pixels. Now let's hit save. Going back to our code, let's hit refresh. So now we have our H1 in red, right? So if we go ahead and we want to give some style in JavaScript and we have this written in here, JavaScript code is going to override whatever style we have given to our H1 in here. So if I go back in here and let's say into JavaScript and let's say that I paste again the code that we have written before and I save this information. Now, if I hit refresh, what you will see is the JavaScript code that we typed in. You are not going to see any longer the one that you wrote down to begin with. Okay, so that's just a quick note, and something that you need to be aware of is that if you just are styling in JavaScript, it'll overwrite anything that you have on your inner style or whatever inner CSS you have typed in here. Okay, so I hope that this tutorial was very clear for you. And now that you have an idea in how you are going to be changing elements, right? And I just show you how to do the H1. You can go ahead and actually play around with your website. You can change all paragraphs. You can, do changes to many other things in here. But for now, I just wanted you to know the basics and how to change style. You can also change the style to, let's say, if you have an external style sheet, you can do that. But for that, I am going to create another tutorial to teach you how to do it. But for now, just know this. This is going to be very useful because typically when you're changing your CSS style, you are going to be doing this only if, let's say, that you have created a website where a user wants to change, I don't know, their theme, right? Or the background color for their, I don't know, let's say their profile page, right? Then they will click a button and they will change that with that button. And then for that, we're going to be using something like this. Of course, the code typed in here will be a little bit different. But just to give you a quick idea, right? And how this works so that whenever we get to build a project, you know how you will, manage your styles here in JavaScript. Okay, so that was it for this episode, everybody. If you have questions, remember, I know you're a beginner. So if you have questions, just drop them in the comment section below and I will take the time to reply as soon as I can. Also, if you like this video, it'll be very, very helpful if you hit that like button. That will help me out in case you want to support my channel. And if you want to get notified every time that I upload a new video, you can go ahead and you can hit the ring bell. And remember that you can always ask Lixi. Bye, everyone, and see you again in the next episode.